A lot of women get pleasure from clitoris stimulation, but if you have been circumcised, you don't have a clit. Does that mean that you are doomed? Does that mean that there is no way for you to get pleasure? The answer is no. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to receive pleasure or how to orgasm even if you do not have an external clitoris. My focus on this video is type 1, type 2, female circumcision. That is, type 1 is when the clitoral head has been removed, and type 2 is when the outer lip, I don't want to use technical terms, so I'm going to use simple words, when the outer lip of the vagina has been removed as well. This is something that is my own personal experience as well, because I have also gone through type 2 circumcision. And circumcision in our society happens in different ages. So depending on when you experienced or when you went through the circumcision, the impact would vary. If you went through it when you were like 3 days old, it's different from when you went through it when you're a teenager, because the mental and emotional trauma associated with that when you're a teenager is higher. So this video, I'm really focused on like the physical things you can get to receive pleasure. But if you are going through an emotional or mental trauma due to circumcision, you also need to heal that wound. You know, you need to heal that emotional wound before you can start talking about the physical, because both of them really work together. So the first is learn the other parts of your body that responds to touch. Look, we have our lips, we have our nipples, we have our breast, we have our inner thigh, we have our back, the back of the ear. These are parts of our bodies that also respond to touch. So when you're engaging in foreplay, you want to tell your partner to touch those other parts, to focus on those parts so that you can get stimulated. As opposed to what people usually do is that they kiss for 2 seconds and they want to start rubbing your vagina. Why? Because the idea is that every woman has a clitoris, and if you stroke her clitoris, then she would be stimulated quickly. And this is like how they do with men. You know, when you're engaging in foreplay with a guy and you stroke his penis, you can stroke it to erection. The clitoris has been called like the tiny male penis, you know, that's what they say. But if you don't have a clitoris, that doesn't work for you. That is not a method that works for you. It's actually going to do the opposite, because what are they rubbing? They're not rubbing anything. They're actually rubbing a wound. So this could be one of the reasons why you are also in pain when someone goes and rubs your clitoris while they're trying to get you stimulated. So what you need to do is, one, teach them the other parts of your body that responds to touch so that they can focus on that during foreplay and you can begin to get stimulated. The clitoris extends into the vagina. What we see outside is just one part. The second trick, if you want your partner or if you are masturbating, one thing you want to do is rub your vagina, the vulva, the clitoris through a cloth, through a panties, through a gown, whatever it is, but don't rub it directly because it is too sensitive and this could actually make you feel pain. And this leads me to my next point. Where are you rubbing? If there's no clitoris there, if it's a wound. One thing that has worked for me is to learn your body. I always say you have to masturbate, because if you want to teach somebody, if you want to teach a partner where to touch you need to know where to touch first to teach the person. One trick to learn the part in your vagina that gives you pleasure if the clitoris has been cut is to rock your vulva on a pillow. So you get a pillow and you just put it in between your thighs and you kind of rock. You know, you would start to feel, oh, this place feels good, this place doesn't feel good. You want to learn what part there feels good. For me, usually what I do is I know that, one, rubbing through the panties is very essential. You cannot rub me directly, it hurts. But two, I know that where you should rub is not at the tip where the clitoris is meant to be, because there hurts. But you need to go a bit lower, as if you were going to the opening of the vagina. So when you start going close to the opening of the vagina, it starts to give pleasure. This is for me. Another thing to know is when the person is rubbing, the idea of rubbing is no, that's not what I mean when I say the person has to rub. When the person is rubbing, you are actually the one doing the kind of the work. What the person is there to do is to put pressure. I want to really emphasize this point, and I want to make sure I'm articulating it properly. The person is putting pressure on it. So the person is just kind of like using their fingers to hold onto it. This is your vulva, this is the person's hand. The person is just The person is not doing this. The person is doing this, pressing it. And you that owns the vagina, that owns the body, you can squeeze like Kegels. I'm doing it right now. When you want to pee, you know how you hold it. Yeah, I want to pee. Hold it. When the person does this, you're holding it, you're putting pressure on it. So this is another way to kind of get, that pleasurable stimulation. As opposed to rubbing, which could hurt, they just put pressure on it and, rub it this way. So that's another way that you can get pleasurable sensations. I know some friends of mine, because they have been circumcised, they need to use a vibrator and they put it on a higher intensity, and they don't rub it again like on the tip where the clit is meant to be, but closer to the vagina opening. And when the vibrator is vibrating, they are not doing this. They're pressing the vibrator on that spot so that the vibration feels like pressure on that spot. So you want to know the difference between doing this, which could hurt, and doing this and pressing it like this. Again, I would beg you, do not focus on orgasm, but focus on pleasure, because that's the path towards orgasm. You can give yourself multiple orgasms. I have done it before. It's funny because the first time I had a multiple orgasm, I gave myself a multiple orgasm. I was like, what is going on here? But you can do this thing. So once you know that, you've taken time to learn your body and you've enjoyed these things, you can tell another person that, look, I've done this, boo. What is going on? Why are we not rocking it like this? So just take time, learn your body. There is nothing that is impossible. Pleasure is for everybody. It might be different for another woman who has her external clitoris out there. The pleasurable sensation might be different, but it doesn't diminish the kind of pleasure that you get for yourself. You just need to learn another pathway towards pleasure and towards sex. That's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Send me your comments. What has worked for you as a circumcised woman? Do you still have pleasurable sensations? Do you enjoy sex regardless of if you have been circumcised? What tips do you have for other women? I'm sure there are women listening to this video that would love to learn from you. Thank you so much again. My name is Lolo Cynthia, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.